Hi everyone, welcome back to Narain's Life with MS. I am Narain and it's time for Motivation Monday. And this Motivation Monday, um, yeah, this Motivation Monday, I did considering it's the first one of the year. Um, I actually wanted to talk about not motivation for yourself, but motivation for other people, right? Considering it's the start of the year, I'm hoping that, at least the few people that you do hold very close to you, few people that you do hold dear to you, that you are wishing them, a happy new year and wishing them, of course, success in this new year, right? Because the one thing I do tend to feel is that when we do spread positive energy, right, regardless of how our sense of humor is, how we deal with life, how we pretty much interact with other people, usually at least doing the little things about wishing other people well definitely comes back a lot bigger than what you actually put out into the world, right? It's actually pretty interesting because I kind of wish money also worked like that. It sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. That's a different story. But the one thing I did want to say was that when you do get the chance to uh, motivate other people, or at least give them you know well wishes at any point in time, please do not actually I should rather say, please do take the opportunity to wish them well on that time, on that day, right? Be it anything, be it professional, personal, right? Seeing anyone, and especially people who you hold close, are dear to you, right? Because usually what ends up happening is that um, there is a lot more positive energy around. And generally, I'd like to think that, when we have so much more positive energy around us, we tend to feel happier. And generally, considering I have gone, um, I have done things in a positive mood, I have done things in not such a positive mood. And I would definitely say that, the same action when you're positive does happen, you know, with a lot more success, right? Even if you succeed, whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood, um, generally the success does taste a little bit sweeter. It does feel a little bit nicer, and on top of that, um, it you kind of feel it, pretty much all around you, right? And that is the one thing that I did want to ask you about today, about this motivation, that if you're taking the time to motivate yourself, do you do the same thing and motivate other people, right? How do you motivate other people? And how do you ensure that you know you're pretty much starting a chain or continuing a chain? If someone does motivate you, then you motivate someone else in return. How far does that chain go, right? Because it definitely does compound, so that in the end, everyone that is getting the motivation, they're taking that motivation somewhere else, right? And this is not you giving something that is tangible. This is more about giving just the words of affirmations, if you call them that. um, just words that will motivate people. So motivational words, I guess, positive words, I mean, whatever you want to call it, you should always look to provide that to people, so that that positivity, that trend of positivity does spread further and further, right? And because at the end of the day, we also want to end each day with a smile, right? And a smile that is, you know at least true to ourselves, right? This is, as you can probably tell from the past 125 videos, that I generally, you know, I am generally happy about talking about, a little bit about my life, talking a little bit about, my philosophies. And, of course, part of it is because I like listening to the sound of my own voice. I don't know how much other people like listening to me though. But yeah, I mean, it's all about really just spreading that positivity and pretty much hopefully reaping much better rewards as a result, because you either started, another, you can almost call it another ripple, right? Another wave. I would prefer calling it a wave. I mean, that was something that I was very bad in physics. But once I actually understood the concept, it became one of my favorite things to actually talk about, or not talk about so much so as visualize in my head. So yeah, you're just creating that wave. And the more people add on to that wave, the bigger the wave gets, right? And that's all that we are pretty much trying to do. And really, I can only say that, if you approach everything more with a negative standpoint, if you're feeling bad one day and you're having a little trouble, what's something that is, funny, something that lightens the mood just a little bit, so that you have that ability to actually provide someone else that motivation, so that they can go forward and repeat that, keep creating that wave, making the wave bigger, so that at the end of the day it will return to us and it will be a positive thing. So that is just a little bit of positivity I wanted to share, a little bit of motivation that I did want to share, which is, you know it's great that I get the opportunity to you know give certain things about me, certain things about what motivated me today. But more so than that, how are you motivating other people, so that this trend of positivity, this wave of positivity, is just spreading to everyone else. And with that said, I do want to wish you a good night. This has been Naren's Life with MS. I am Naren, and of course, do spread the positivity. Do share your insights, your inputs, your experiences about when maybe if you did spread a certain positive message forward, and when it returned to you, how did that happen, and what was the result of it? Because I would love to have a conversation on that. So do share those experiences, and of course do share your insights and your inputs as well. Do share your thoughts all in the comment section, so that we can actually engage in that conversation. And that's about it. So thank you so much. Good night, sweet dreams, and of course I'll talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.